everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Vikings Report Rewind. My name's Ted Glover, and a happy new league year day, or whatever the thing is, whatever. It's the first day of the new league year. Free agency in the NFL has officially started. Things are going hot and heavy, and we are here to talk about it. As usual, we've got my compatriots and partners in crime, Drew Bunning and Chris. I look like a hippie Gates.
Chris Gates, it's a UFC fighters. Don't go.
Welcome, gents.
It is 316, so I figured I'd go with the Steve Austin tribute look for those who observe.
That's good. So also real quick, kind of a little personal thing. I'm not sure if my daughter Amber is watching, but it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, sweetie. Hope you've had a good day. And I hope we see you soon, which I think we will. So either way, all that's over and done with. Free agency started, gentlemen. Drew, what were you expecting coming into free agency?
Kind of expecting how it's gone so far. And I know that's kind of not very popular with everybody, but it's kind of gone the way I thought it would. I mean, I wasn't really expecting any big names to be walking through the door, but hello to everybody out there. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to have a killer show. We got a lot in store, but I'm kind of, I know that everybody's on edge. The fan base is kind of falling apart because we haven't went out and got Von Miller or something. So
no, he's going to the Bills.
Yeah, I didn't expect much free agency movement. Ted, did you?
Not really. Chris, what about you?
No, this is kind of what I think we expected. I mean, we knew the Vikings didn't have a lot of salary cap money to play around with or anything like that. And, they've made a couple of moves and they've done the I wouldn't say inevitable Kirk Cousins contract extension, but that's what we got. And they've made a couple other moves here and there. And, I don't think anybody should have expected a heck of a lot early on in free agency because, they just don't have the money to do a whole lot, Kirk extension or not.
Drew, you said the fan base seems unhappy, and I would agree with you. And I think
it took 50 days for Adolfo Mensa to be hated.
A lot of that started with as Chris called it, the possibly inevitable Kirk Cousins extension. Now, what happened is, initial reports, you got a 4-year extension and people are losing their minds. I was one of those people. But when you look at the numbers and the way the contract was structured, it's essentially just a 1-year extension. He's playing under a heavy cap number in 2022. He's playing under a heavy cap number in 2023. And then the 2024 and 25 years are voided. And he's no longer going to be on the Vikings unless he really steps up and the Vikings hit, the rarefied air of NFC Championship, Super Bowl, whatever. He has a $12.6 million dead cap in 2024 and only $6 million in 2025. So this is not like if you think you can work with Kirk, I would think a 1 or 2 year tryout isn't unreasonable. Is that now? I get blown up and start over. I still think that eventually is where this is going. But I think O'Connell's plan is like, look, we think we have a good roster now. He said that. Adolfo Mensa said that. So we roll with what as much as we can right now and with Kirk and see if we can't contend. And we got like essentially a year to decide. I still think they draft their quarterback of the future in next year's draft, let him sit under Kirk for a year and then go from there. Is that crazy thinking, Chris?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, the quarterback class this year is not great by any stretch from everything I've seen. There's a couple of guys that are intriguing, but I think they feel a lot more strongly about next year's quarterback class. And, that it's entirely possible. We kept hearing all offseason that, there were trade talks and there were things like this where they probably just weren't going to get what they wanted for him. And there's no point in giving him away for let's trade him for a conditional 6th round pick just so he can be rid. No.
Right.
He's not a bad quarterback. I mean, you get something of value for him. And if you don't get what you want for him, you hang on to him. And, like you said, they probably draft their quarterback of the future next year, let him carry Kirk's clubs for a season and roll with him in 2024 when Kirk's probably not on the roster at age 36 or 37, whatever he's going to be. So, no, I mean, it's not the end of the world that they gave Kirk Cousins another year on his contract. It helps him this year with the cap. And it helps them in future years with the cap. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Drew, I want to hear your opinion while you're talking. Ruby is going to bring in an old friend of ours. So let me know what you think of.
We have old friends that don't hate us.
I think so. Allegedly, we'll see what happens.
Like 3.
So, I mean, what were your thoughts? I mean, and you and Drew, you and I have talked before on the show that we thought, and you specifically mentioned the gloom of Spielman, Zimmer, and Cousins.
Yeah.
And to move on, to completely get rid of it, you had to get rid of all 3. Are you coming to terms with Kirk or not?
This is certainly something that I know those guys have spent a lot of hours and a lot of time figuring out. I do not think they wanted to target a quarterback in this draft. And I think that led them to this decision. I really do. I think that they want to target a guy next year because I think they might like that class better. But the bottom line is, O'Connell probably said, what's the best option for quarterback for me for 2022? Is there a better option than Kirk Cousins? Nobody in free agency is better than them.
No.
So he went the route of what's my best chance for this year. And I think that had a lot to do. I think people heard the initial contract. Oh, he's going to be here in 2026, which isn't, I mean, everybody wanted him gone. So I could see why people are getting upset and all this. But I think it was a carefully thought out plan. And I think it goes a lot to what you started the show with. I think the way you explained it is exactly what's going to happen. I think they're going to get the Cousins will be in here now, and then they're going to get a rookie in here next year. He's going to sit under him, and then there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you see it on your screen, but old friend David Stefano, and by old I mean look at the beard. The man looks like he's 112 now. Our old good friend Dave from Climbing the Pocket Network. Dave, buddy, how are you, my friend?
I am doing good.
Is that producer Dave?
That's producer Dave. I'm
up?
sitting in my Vikings happy hour set because we have a show right after yours. And
there aren't any freaking sunspots either, so I don't want to hear it.
Dave, what about our show after the Cowboys game, Dave? We got to get better.
Dave,
we got to get better.
Dave? What are your thoughts on just the early days of free agency in general? What are you happy? You sad? Indifferent? What are you?
Well, to me, it seems like the Vikings went straight to tier 2 and then tier 3 for picking so far. Not that they have any money. It just came over the wire that they're still trying to trade Danielle Hunter before they have to make a decision to pay him on Sunday that $18 million bonus. That has me just absolutely fired up, as you can see.
I like when Dave Stefano's fired up. We do.
Folks, if you haven't seen Dave Stefano fired up, you're in for a treat. So we're gonna set the rocket off. Tell me what you think about the Kirk Cousins extension, buddy.
I'm gonna give him an arm slap right now.
Or you want to wait until your show coming up at the top of the hour.
I think I've already let my thoughts be known. I think actually the money amount is decent. We're not paying him above market value. I think that's good. I think I'm viewing it as he's just an expensive bridge quarterback until good friend over there, Chris said, and here next year we draft a quarterback and then, the year after he's gone and the new quarterback takes over. That's the only way I can see it. I'm not pleased. We're on the road to mediocrity still. And that just drives me absolutely nuts because I want a Super Bowl before we die. Yeah. And I'm closer to dying than any of you guys. So
I'd have to agree with that. Yeah.
Quick.
Jesus Christ, man, dye your beard. You'll gain 20 years.
I probably should. I've looked into that. I'm growing it longer because my daughter gave me some Vikings beads to put in it.
Oh, you're not even gonna.
Oh, you got to do that. You got to do that.
You're not even gonna.
Oh,
hey, can I do one thing real quick?
Yeah, you bet.
Good morning, Gallahorn.
Nice.
What do you got coming up at the top of the hour, buddy, over in Climbing the Pocket?
That's beautiful.
We have Vikings happy hour, and our guest tonight is the one and only Doogie Wolfson. And every time he's been on, he's regular. He comes on about once a month. We get scoops beyond scoops. We find out the real stuff, and we have a great time drinking our favorite beverage, which for me is Lake Monster from St. Paul. They make some fantastic beer, and we have a good time. We're going to talk to Vikings and hopefully have a good time. But it's not quite like your show.
All right. Well,
we like to have fun and laugh. But when things get down and depressed, sort of like this off season's been so far, I come to Vikings Report with Ted and Drew.
Yeah.
I can laugh.
Aw.
Nice.
That's great, man. We love you, man. Thank you.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Dave. Have a great show tonight. Break a leg. What's the beverage tonight? You got a bean sprout IPA you're gonna chug?
No, I just finished
Cauliflower IPA.
a depth charge IPA, which is damn good, and I'm probably going to have some more Lake Monster brews tonight on my show.
Get Zimmer out! Get him out! We need to play better.
Thanks for stopping by, Dave. We'll check you out at the top of the hour. That's Vikings Happy Hour on the Climbing the Pocket Network on YouTube.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good to see you with the growth there, Chris. Looks awesome.
I gotta catch up with you and Ted and the rest of the veteran crowd now. So,
Hey,
yeah.
Super Bowl party at your house, Dave. We're gonna win it this year.
Hell yeah.
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
All right, man.
Food and beer here in Austin.
Have a good show, buddy.
You too.
We'll see you.
That's awesome.
Go Vikings.
Skull Vikes. That's our good buddy Dave Stefano.
That is a hell of a way.
You can see him. You can see his ugly mug just about every night as on about 25 different shows on the Climbing the Pocket Network. All right. So the Vikings have made some other news as well.
That's a good way to kick off the show, Ted.
It really was. Yeah. They had kind of a substantial signing. I don't know that he's a marquee guy, but I think it's a good depth signing. They announced yesterday. Linebacker Jordan Hicks. Drew, what were your thoughts on Jordan Hicks? Arizona Cardinals.
I like this pickup, Ted.
Do you?
I do. This guy Hicks can play either middle or outside linebacker. 30 years old, which is a little long in the tooth, but played 97% of the snaps last year. And let me tell you, this guy, 2019 was really his star year. He did 100% of the snaps. He had 150 tackles. In 2019, 93 solo, but he's had over 1,000 snaps each of the last 3 seasons. He's been a leader in the tackling department for the Cardinals. He is a solid tackler, solid linebacker. He is kind of iffy in the coverage game, Ted, but he's only missed 4 games the last 3 years. He's a great tackler, and I am happy with the signing. I am.
Chris, what are you thinking on the signing?
I think it's a solid signing. I mean, we don't have a lot of depth at linebacker. I mean, we don't know what's happened with Anthony Barr yet. Obviously we have Eric Kendricks, but Kendricks isn't getting any younger. And Drew said he can play inside or outside. So, I mean, if we keep hearing different things about what Ed Donatel kind of wants to do defensively, and if he wants to go to more of a 3-4, then he could be a really solid pairing with Kendricks on the inside, or they could do whatever they want with him pretty much. And he's the kind of guy that, if the Vikings are going to make that transition, they need the kind of guys that can do either or in order to make that transition smooth out a little bit. So you're not just slamming the brakes on one form of defense and just jump starting another. Just got to give yourself that little bit of transition in there.
I don't think he's a game changer, Ted, but what he is 100% reliable. Reliable in terms of tackling. In our tackling game sucked last year.
Yeah, they did. It did. The defense was terrible, and hopefully he can shore that up. I'm intrigued with the inside pairing with Kendricks and Jordan Hicks. Do you think this affects Anthony Barr's status, Drew?
How about Eric Kendricks?
Okay.
Well, you look at Jordan Hicks, his time in Philly and his time in Arizona. 7 seasons in the league, 4 of them were spent at middle linebacker. So he's actually played more middle linebacker than he has outside linebacker. So I don't know what this means for Kendricks or Barr. I mean, I believe me, Kendricks is a guy we got to keep. I want to keep him.
Okay.
I hope they do work in tandem, and I think it means something for Barr, doesn't it? I mean, why would you go out and sign this guy off free agency if it didn't mean Barr? I predicted Barr won't be on the team next year, and I still feel that way. But he's very versatile, Jordan Hicks.
Chris, what do you think this affects either Kendricks or Barr's status with the Hicks signing?
I mean, I thought Kendricks was one of the guys they could potentially target for a restructure. I mean, I've been hearing Kendricks, I've been hearing Thielen, Harrison Smith, guys they could possibly look at for restructuring contracts and whatnot. I mean, as of 3:00 when the new league year started, Anthony Barr is no longer on the roster just because his contract officially expired. So we're going to have to see if they're interested in bringing him back. I don't know if they are, but when Kevin O'Connell took the job, I mean, they talked about Anthony Barr a lot, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't do anything with him before now, but he could be a guy that they could be interested in bringing back. And, if they do go to more of a 3-4 where he could play on the outside, that might be a bit of a fit and a bit of a career extender for him. So I don't think Kendricks is in danger of getting cut or anything, but we're going to have to see how this affects him, I think.
We mentioned this right before we came live. We saw a tweet that Tyler Conklin has been signed by the New York Jets.
Oh, good for
him.
Good for him.
Folks, and by the way, for everybody that's joining us, thank you so much for joining us. We got a lot of comments going on. I'm trying to match and do both here. But people in the room were talking about it, that Conklin is to the Jets. So that would sort of make sense with the Johnny Munt signing, tight end from the Los Angeles Rams. They got him today.
Munt cake, Ted?
Nothing Munt cakes. I don't know if you've gotten a Munt cake before, but I had nothing Munt cakes.
Dude, that guy's David Morgan. He's David Morgan. He's a blocking tight end.
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Seriously.
Da, 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 da. All right. Anyway, so Conklin is gone. They bring in Munt. I think in like 4 or 5 years, he's got maybe half a dozen catches. He's a blocking tight end.
He has 10 catches in 5 years or something.
Okay, that's 2 a year. So he's averaging 2 less catches a year than us.
Those are Chris Herndon numbers, but we didn't give up a 4th round pick to get John.
Oh,
I mean, geez. Yeah. Wow.
I miss Chris Gates, man. I miss you, Chris Gates. I call you Chris Bill Gates. You know why?
Don't know.
Because your takes are money. That's why I call you Bill Gates. You're Chris Bill Gates.
I would have thought it's because you needed a shot after we heard him. Oh, damn!
Nice. Nice.
Oh, now we're off and running.
Oh, we're going.
Ted, Conklin being gone is a sad day. That guy's awesome.
I was kind of, and I don't think any of us thought it was realistic he would be back. He made himself a payday this past season, taking the place of Irv Smith Jr. Chris.
He sure did. I mean, this was supposed to be the breakout year for Irv Smith, and then he gets hurt in the last preseason game, and it wound up being the breakout year for Tyler Conklin instead. He had 61 catches, which is it was either the 5th or 6th highest total for a tight end in team history this year. I think he was somewhere that might hit the top 5 for catches in a season by a tight end. But I don't think anybody expected him to be back with Irv Smith returning this year and hopefully staying healthy so that he can actually have his breakout year in 2022. So I think that makes tight end more of a significant need going forward. They need to get one of those mid-round guys that you and Drew were talking about on one of your shows.
Well, Munt is a Ram too, right, Ted?
He was.
So he's probably pretty familiar with the guys taking over the regime now.
I would think so. Now, one thing before we get going any further, for those of you that are watching, first of all, thanks. If you would like to be on the show, either hit Ruby up with a private message on our Twitter show account. It's at ReportTed, ReportTed. Or if you are friends with her on Facebook, hit her up with a direct message on Facebook. She will send you a link and we'll get you on the show. So they had one other signing earlier today as well. And again, it's nothing, it's nothing major unless you want to call the Jordan Hicks signing a major one. I don't know that I would. But they signed Austin Schlottman from Denver. He was a undrafted free agent in 2018. Started 7 games over the course of his season. And for those of you that are sad to see Dakota Dozier go, ladies and gentlemen, we got our new Dakota Dozier here, I think.
Nobody's scared. Nobody's sad to see Dakota Dozier go.
Absolutely not.
This guy, what'd you say? Schlottman?
Holy Schlott, man.
Holy Schlottman.
Austin Schlottman.
Now, he was a restricted free agent by Denver, right? Which is different than the unrestricted, which means they were trying to hide this guy.
He was, but they did not tender him at any one of the first, second, third round picks, whatever it is you can tender him at. So, yeah, you're right. That's correct.
Well, it's a depth guy that can play center or guard, which is what we talked about last week when we were going over the tackle position. Oh, wait, that's this week. The tackle position. I don't know. I mean, I bringing in bodies and see who's going to work, Ted. That's kind of where we're at right now in March.
So here's the thing. So they extended Kirk,
right?
They signed, kind of like Dave was saying, a tier 2, tier 3 free agent in Jordan Hicks. I'd call him a tier 2, kind of one step down. I'd call the Munt and Schlottman signings tier 3, if not lower. And people are irritated because it seems like Spielman and Zimmer never went away. They're still here.
Hearing a lot of that. I've been hearing a lot of that.
I mean,
what's Chris's take? Chris, what's your take?
Yeah, does it irritate you that they're kind of doing this kind of Spielman-ish routine?
No. I mean, they've been on the job for like two or 3 weeks. There was somebody that put it to me yesterday. And this might be the greatest definition of Vikings fandom of all time, is that Viking fans aren't happy unless we aren't happy. And that's kind of like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like, yeah, we got this young dude and Kwesi, and we got a great young offensive minded head coach and Kevin O'Connell, and everything's going to be awesome. And like 24 hours into free agency, everyone's pissed off. Everything sucks. Everything, nothing's changed. Everything's the same. I mean, we haven't even hit the draft yet, kids. Let these guys do their damn job.
Sure. That's kind of how I feel.
I mean, we talk a lot about football. We know a decent amount about football. These are the dudes who rely on football to like put food on their table and put a roof over their heads. And that to me means, they know more than I do. And if this is the plan that they're going with so far, I want to see how it comes out. I mean, no, I'm not going to be pissed off after 2 days of free agency. I mean, what's the point?
Straight. Gates, man, that fucking Gates, he got shit together.
I
agree.
And one thing, it was kind of, and I don't know if this is a tier 2 or tier 3 guy, but he's essentially going to be replacing Michael Pierce. Denver defensive tackle Harrison Phillips. And the signing I took away, this is what I took away from that signing. When it was announced that he was going, the Bills Mafia got on social media and were really irritated. They didn't want to see this guy go.
Right.
And that tells me, and same with the Jordan Hicks signing. A lot of Cardinals fans were irritated that they lost him. And that kind of tells me that these guys aren't going to be too bad. Now Phillips has had, he tore his ACL, I think it was in 2020, and came back healthy last year. Looked like he was drafted in 2019, off to a promising start, then got hurt. So it feels like he's going to be a positive addition to the Vikings defensive line. And with going to a 3-4, they're going to need a guy that's going to eat up a bunch of bodies and improve that absolutely atrocious run defense.
And that's what Phillips does, apparently, from everything I've seen about him. He's one of the best run stuffers in the NFL. Like you said, he's going to replace Michael Pierce, who, he signed that big contract a few years ago, and then he had the year that he opted out because of the COVID thing. And then he came back last year, and he only played, I believe it was 8 games because he couldn't stay on the field. He couldn't stay healthy. I mean, you hate to see a guy like Michael Pierce go, because when he was on the field, he actually performed really well. I mean, he had that 2-sack game in the opener against Cincinnati, and he played solid when he was on the field, but he was just never out there after about week 4 or so. He was hurt all the time.
Drew, do you like the Phillips signing, Harrison Phillips?
Harrison Phillips will be our best free agent pickup the whole offseason. I defer to Abe Lincoln, Ted. Our buddy Alex Martinez, who is an insider for Buffalo, he might as well be working for the Bills. He sent me the scouting report on Harrison Phillips, and he is bummed to see him leave. But he said, for the amount of money you guys spent, that might be the best value pickup in the entire free agency. That guy is a big motor, big run stopper. And before he had his knee injury that you mentioned, he was the talk of the town in Buffalo. He was shredding people. Absolute fantastic defensive tackle. Alex vouches for him, so I'll vouch for him. And after I read the scouting report from Alex Martinez, I was fired up on it, Ted. I really was. I think he's going to work out great. He's a great run stopper. We need to stop the run. We got to stop the run.
And if you want to look at historical precedent, I mean, the last time the Vikings drafters signed a big old run stuffing defensive tackle for Buffalo, it worked out all right for him.
Yeah, so, Pat Williams. That was a good signing.
Chris Gates.
Yeah. Hey, does Buffalo have a hard hitting cornerback from Ohio State we could sign to shore up the secondary?
Rhino
Johnson.
What is up, boys?
What do you got, Trooster?
Is that North Dakota State University's Ryan Johnson on the screen?
That absolutely is, yes.
My God. What are you doing, Ryan Johnson?
The Bison's one and only. Rhino, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Good. What are you thinking of the first couple of days of free agency?
You're pissed off. Go ahead and say it.
Fire everybody. Wait. Before you get started, give yourself a little plug. You got 20 seconds. Talk about your show.
All right. So shameless.
Okay, time's up. Give us your opinion on free agency.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll do the shameless plug at the end.
No, do the plug now. Go.
All right. Just for everybody watching, Lance and I are doing a live show tomorrow night to catch all the news and everything that doesn't happen in the next 12 hours or so for being the new league year is officially started and everything else. So check out the Vikings Uncensored podcast at 6 p.m. Central Time on our YouTube channel. So we'll be live tomorrow night.
Excellent.
Right. What do you got, man?
There's a certain little bit back and forth here. You're looking at all these guys that are going off the boards. I mean, yeah, they're spending big money for like Brandon Scherf and people like that. There was no way we were ever going to be able to afford those guys. I do like the defensive tackle, Harrison Phillips. I mean, the guy's nickname is Horrible Harry. How can you go wrong with that on the Vikings? I mean, come on. And I saw like what you'd seen too, Ted. I know I was talking to a couple people on Bills Mafia that were extremely sad to see this guy go, and they're like, "Please take good care of him. We're going to miss him here." He was their Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee last year, so he's a high character dude. Cool. And if he can stay healthy, I think he's not as big as Pierce, but I think he's probably got a little bit more move and wiggle and all those fancy draft terms that we like to use. But
how does he play in a phone booth?
In a phone booth?
Does he have sand in his pants?
No sand in his pants, because that just weighs him down. You take the sand out of the pants and he's rocking and rolling.
Rhino, how is his mechanical congruency? That's what
it is quite congruent.
How much twitch does he have? Come on!
He's got twitch for days with his hand in the dirt.
His get off is translucent. I just literally made that up.
He's also got oily hips.
Why do we all sound like Gorilla Monsoon? Jesus. Your lower occipital protuberance is bruised or something.
Well, look, it is Austin 316 day as well. Like,
oh my God!
So absolutely, you got to crack a beer and for Steve Austin.
Did we just went Gorilla Monsoon? Oh my God, Chris Gates! That's awesome.
All right, tell us about your regular show there. When can we find it and where and all that good stuff?
Of course, the normal Vikings Uncensored is every Friday night at 6 p.m. But like I said, this week we are doing a special live show tomorrow night, Thursday night, 6 p.m. on the YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber yet, we would love if you guys would sign up. Just go on, search for Vikings Uncensored. It'll pop up. Check out our Facebook page. So we got links to everything there as well. The audio versions of the cast. Lance and I will get in and we're going to break down all this stuff. We're not going to hold back. If we got something we're pissed off about, you might want to keep young children out of the room because Lance tends to cuss like a sailor.
No.
On occasion, it's been said that he does.
I got this photo of Thielen behind me was a prize I won from Vikings Uncensored.
Yes, it was.
So
Drew
they give
won
away
our last
prizes
contest
too.
that we had going on at the end of the season, but
I won it. Damn it, I won that thing.
Yeah, so I mean, we're hoping that we've got some good news to talk about by this time tomorrow night. I'm still hoping that we decide maybe somebody like a JC Treader or something like that could come knocking this way, but we got to clear cap space for that first, of course. So
he's not coming here.
I don't think he is either, but I would like to see him. But you know, we like you guys said earlier, it's kind of like that meme with the guy with a stick sitting there poking the Vikings logo saying, "Come on, do something." It seems like. But...
All right. Well, Rhino, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us your early takes on free agency. Check out their live show, Vikings Uncensored, tomorrow, and their normal show Friday at 6 p.m. censored on their Vikings Uncensored.
We won't have a regular show this Friday. We're just having the Thursday show, but normal time on Friday.
I would think so, because Lance has probably run out of F-bombs after Thursday.
You know what?
I've never seen that man run out of F-bombs.
If you're going to go live tomorrow, there's no way these ears could have that many F-bombs on Friday.
All right, Rhino, take care, buddy.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you.
All right. So, you know, the thing, I think fans sort of forgot that when both Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah got hired and when Kevin O'Connell got hired, they both said that they liked the roster that was that the current Vikings have, the Vikings current roster. Geez, if I could talk. So it shouldn't be that surprising to some of us that they're trying to keep as much of it together. And I don't know if you can make an argument that maybe they're right, because, you know, the Vikings lost a lot of one-score games last year. And now we can flip that and do a 180 on that as well. And they could have lost even more, the close ones they won. But do you guys think that with a new coaching staff and a new philosophy and a new approach, that can translate into more wins, and that this team really is a little bit better than their 8-9 record showed last year, Drew?
I think they are better than the 8-9 record that they showed last year. But, you know, this whole thing comes down to that belief in Kirk Cousins again. You know, you got him, Washington, you know, whatever, we're going to get him. We got a better team, better surrounding players for Kirk Cousins. We're a quarterback away, Ted, remember?
Yeah.
That's it. We're just a quarterback away. And now they're throwing all their money to the center of the table, hoping that he's the guy, that they can work with him better, get more out of Kirk than what he's done. That's been the storyline for him for 4 years. Can we get more? They're betting on that. They're going for that. And I got to put faith more in O'Connell than I did in Zimmer in getting that done. I think they want to have a run at the Super Bowl without cashing it all in this year and saying, we're in a full rebuild. I think they want to try to balance it to make a run at it. I think that what they're trying to do. The next year, all the cuts and everything will come.
Chris, do you think, I'll ask the same question to you. Do you think this team is better than their 8-9 record indicated, and O'Connell and his new coaching staff might be able to get more out of this roster than Mike Zimmer did in his last couple of years?
I really think they are. I mean, I think they should be able to win at least 10 games, I would think. You know, they had the defensive lapses last year. Like we talked every single week pretty much about how this team gave up a score either at the end of the first half or at the end of regulation. And, you know, if you can tighten that up even a little bit, it goes a long way to improving things. I mean, they gave up so many points at the end of halves and at the end of regulation last year that, you know, you can't put that on, you know, the offense. And as far as the offensive side of the ball, I mean, you know, this isn't going to be, you know, we're bringing in John DeFilippo and his offensive system so that we could tell him that his offensive system sucks and we're going to go back to what we were doing on offense. I mean, this is an offensive-minded head coach who just played, or who just was on the coaching staff of the Super Bowl champions underneath a coach that, you know, just by touching the hem of his garment, you become an offensive genius, you know? And so this is going This is going to be if Kirk Cousins can't get it done under Kevin O'Connell, then we can finally determine that he's the issue. But I think they're going to get a whole lot more out of Kirk Cousins and the rest of his offense this year than we've seen the past couple of years.
Ted,
yeah.
Let me add this. We talk about the one-score games. How many close games the Vikings? How many overtime games the Vikings had?
Yeah.
They had the 30th ranked defense. 30. Now, if you take away the 30th ranked defense, which is 2 away from being the shit bad, then you're probably winning a lot of those games. So that's got to be the outlook that O'Connell sees. It's going, we're right there. We're right there. Let's not throw 2022 away. We're right there. If we get this defense figured out, look at the guys they've signed so far. What are they? They're defensive players.
Yeah. But
30th in the league, and you still had a bunch of one-score losses. I mean, come on.
Okay, I don't know that Jordan Hicks and Harrison Phillips are going to be guys that.
Well, they're not game changers. I know that.
Right, and you still have to look at all the guys they've lost, especially in the secondary. Who's gonna be the Vikings starting cornerbacks right now? I mean, they might as well hold open tryouts, and we've got just as good a shot as anybody. It seems now.
What the hell is Carl Lee doing? I know that guy stays in shape. I'd get Carl Lee back. No, I hear what you're saying, but if we're that close with one-score games and we have the 30th ranked defense, what happens if you bring that defense into the 15th area?
I agree. I'm just not sure with switching to a 3-4 and really not having. Now, I'm sure by the time they get to training camp, they'll have an idea who's going to be in their secondary. But right now, they really don't have a secondary that you can look at with any confidence. And
no, that's true. That's true.
If they're still really tied up against the cap. I mean, they managed to be under the cap when the new league year started, but the cap situation is such that they're not able to really make an impact signing on defense right now. I mean, maybe things will happen in a couple days, but I just feel that if they're going to get better, this team is going to have to win. Or if they're going to win more games, this team is going to have to outscore opponents right now, because I do think the offense is legit set. I think this offense is set to go off and have a great season.
I do too.
All right, we got another caller, Nick Howard, wearing his Sunday best. As always.
Damn right I am. Yeah, you damn
Nick,
right
buddy,
I am.
How's it
What's
going,
up,
man? What do you got for us tonight?
All right. So let's start with what you guys talked about a little earlier, with the Rick and Mike vibe around the team right now. Here's what I think, and that's because a lot of those. Well, let me backtrack a little bit with the hiring of Kwesi. He hasn't had time to make the changes that I'm sure he wants to in his front office. So a lot of the same people are still there. So they have that Rick and Mike train of thought. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think I'm wrong. I might be, but I don't know. And then like, I know, Ted, I messaged you when they re-signed Cousins, and I was pretty pissed when it happened. But the light at the end of the hostage situation that is Kirk Cousins is now upon us.
Well put. That's well put.
So you're okay with the Cousins extension then, is what you're saying?
Say that again.
Are you okay with the Kirk Cousins extension?
Not necessarily. I'd rather just been done with him at that, either trade him to the Colts like was rumored, or get rid of him at the end of this coming season.
Well, they got him for one more year. So
yeah. But now we got to pay him 70 over the next 2.
Yeah, but then it's pretty much done. I mean, it's $12 million in dead cash space for 2024 is not that big a deal.
Nick Howard, can we win the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins as our quarterback?
No, not even no.
Okay, you got to back up a little bit. We need to talk.
No.
I'm tending to agree with you, but I'm trying to look at keeping the positive spin here.
So then with free agency, we kind of where we sit with the cap and all that stuff. Who would you like? What position would you like to see the Vikings address, or who do you want to see them sign, Nick?
Well, top of my wish list is Tyrann Mathieu. He's still on the board as far as I know.
I see. I don't think. I mean,
but that's going to be way too much money.
Yeah, they're going to keep Harrison Smith, and now Xavier Rhodes left via free agency, so I think they're going to roll with Harrison Smith and Cameron Bynum.
Honey Badger would be perfect for this.
I think he might be. Yeah, it would be kind of like a Patrick Peterson signing from last year. But
I haven't seen anything like rumor wise as far as him going anywhere.
Matthew?
Yeah,
I haven't either. His name has been really quiet this year, which is kind of surprising for me.
He does a lot back there. He's not just a safety. That guy covers more area than probably any secondary guy in the league. He can play corner, play around the line, the box. He can everything. He plays everything. It's good to have everything guys on your team, Ted.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. All right, Nick, you got anything else for us tonight, buddy?
No, sir. I just wanted to vent a little bit, and I appreciate that.
You bet. Hey, look, you don't have to dress up so much next time. No, you don't have to wear a tie. Don't worry about that, buddy.
Hey, that's how I roll. It's like 90 degrees here. So
you know what? That's Vikings report, though. We don't want you to dress up. We want everybody to be in their own natural habitat. You know
Not too natural. At least have a shirt on, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I live in Southern Arizona. It's 90 degrees here, so
Nick Howard, you are a great Viking fan. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Nick. Guys. Appreciate it. Take care, man. All right, so I asked Nick that question. And he mentioned Honey Badger. Chris, who would you like the Vikes to sign? Who do you, or what position do you think they need to be going after?
I mean, Tyrann Mathieu would be nice, obviously. I mean, he's one of the top defensive backs in the league. That we've already mentioned it. They really need to start looking at the secondary. I mean, Patrick Peterson is out there basically saying in big bold letters, I would like to come back to Minnesota next year. I mean, he said it on his podcast. He keeps saying it just about to anybody that'll listen. I don't know if they're going to bring him back. He was solid last year. I'm not gonna lie. If they can get him back on some sort of a decent salary level, he wouldn't be a bad addition. But I think the secondary is going to have to start being the focus here. I mean, I think we're to the point where, we joked around every year for 7 years about Mike Zimmer taking a cornerback in the first round, but we're probably taking a cornerback in the first round this year, kids. So we should just prepare ourselves for that now.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Whether it's I don't know if Sauce Gardner is going to make it to us at 12 anymore, but I think Derek Stingley Jr. might.
One of the two. One of the two will.
All right. It's going to be one of those two guys, I think.
I think so too.
Drew, who would you like to see the Vikings target, either position or player?
Well, we signed a linebacker, defensive tackle, tight end. Am I missing one?
Guard.
Yeah, we got.
Schlockman.
Schlockman. Schlockman. I'd like to see the Vikings go get a corner and then double it up with a corner in the draft early. The cornerback position is so vital in today's football, and I think they're really depleted there, Ted. So I would like to see a free agent corner come in here within the next couple weeks.
Okay. Anybody in particular you have in mind, or just
also we have prizes tonight? I don't know if anybody knew that. We have prizes to give away. So all you people that are tuned in going, this guy said we were going to have prizes, a schmuck.
We are. I still got to figure out who's going to get a prize.
Man, that's tough. I know Bouilly is still available.
Yeah.
The corner situation scares me, guys. It does. Man, we just.
I mean, right now at corner we got Cameron Dantzler and nothing. Pretty much.
Yeah. Think of that.
We do have Harrison Hand. We're collecting Harrisons at this point. We've got Harrison Smith. We got a Harrison on each level of the defense now. We've got
Either that or a guard, Ted. I want when free agency started, I wanted an interior offensive lineman in free agency. That's what I wanted.
So Austin Schlottman isn't doing it for you. The next Dakota Dozier isn't doing it for you.
Come on, man. Ted. No, he's not. Maybe he is. Maybe he's an all-star player. I don't know.
So
what do you think? Who do you want, Ted?
I think the defensive secondary needs some help. I'm not really sure who's out there. There's no name that jumps out. Last year, Patrick Peterson was a name that I thought was not even really a get possible for the Vikes, but he is an unrestricted free agent again, and he has said he would like to come back. He wasn't terrible. I mean, he wasn't the Patrick Peterson of 5 years ago, but if it's not him, it's going to be a guy like Patrick Peterson, or they're going to have to go in the draft. Drew, go ahead.
I just want to say this, and I'll shoot it right back to you, Ted. You can finish your thought. You know what bugs me about Patrick Peterson?
What?
Is the 2 plays I saw when the running back just ran by him and he didn't attempt to tackle. That bugs the shit out of me. That bugs me. That bugs me. I do not like that. I do not like that when players don't give effort. I don't like it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's all I need to see off the team. Sorry, I may be a little harsh, but for you Patrick Peterson lovers that want to rip me. But I saw twice last year where he didn't give a shit's effort to tackle somebody, and that bugs me. One was the Cincinnati game with Uzoma, the tight end. He ran right by him, and Peterson acted like he had COVID. It was terrible, and that bugs me, and now I'll shoot it back to you. I had to get that out there.
I get it. I mean, Chris, would you be on board? So Drew is a no on Patrick Peterson. I'm kind of a yes. Where you sit on bringing Peterson back?
I think I'm kind of a yes. I mean, at this point, like you said, who else are you going to get? I mean, I'm looking at some of the free agent cornerback rankings from like Walter Football and some of the other places. I mean, Stephon Gilmore is still out there.
Yeah.
But he's probably going to be a little on the more expensive side. Casey Hayward, he's hurt all the time. Kawan Williams, Bryce Callahan, Kyle Fuller, Rasul Douglas. We could bring Xavier Rhodes back, see how that goes. No, we probably shouldn't bring Xavier Rhodes back and see how that goes. But there's just not a lot out there. Peterson at least has some familiarity with the personnel and with the defense and whatnot. So that kind of tips me toward the S side of the scale.
But keeping a guy just because you have nothing better, hasn't that been the problem for the Vikings the last 5 years? We don't have anything better, so let's just bring this guy back.
No, I get it. I am totally in line with that sentiment. But I'm not. And you're right. There were a couple times where he just didn't really seem to put in an effort. Made a business decision, but he wasn't bad. Now, if you tell me they can get somebody better in free agency, or Sauce Gardner, for example, is the first name that pops into my head as a cornerback that they might be able to draft at 12 and would be better, then I'll listen. But right now, I mean, there's like Chris said, there's Cameron Dantzler and that's it.
No, I get how the current roster.
Chris Boyd. I mean, what are the starters right now today? Dantzler and Chris Boyd? Would it be Chris Boyd?
Probably.
No, it's bad. But I don't know. I guess I'm just old school Bud Grant. If that guy did that on Bud Grant's team, he would have never played another down.
All right, so
times have changed, Ed. Times have changed.
So here, what I'm going to do, we're waiting for somebody to come on. This is what we're going to do to hand out our 2 prizes. The first two people that can tell me the following information, you have to have it all. The year Antoine Winfield was signed by the Vikings as a free agent, the team he played for before the Minnesota Vikings, and the college that he went to. So I need the year he became a Viking, the team he played at before the Vikings, and then what college Antoine Winfield went to. That's Antoine Winfield Jr. or Senior. Obviously, Antoine Winfield Jr. is going to go in his 3rd year. So the first 2 people that can get those 3 pieces of information correct, there are 2 prize winners for this evening.
That is fantastic.
How's that?
Absolutely.
Chris Gates, you got the answer to that? You know it already?
I do, but I as a member of a Vikings Report with Drew and Ted LLC, I am not eligible to win the prizes. So, yeah.
All right.
But I do
So,
know the
anyways,
answers, yes.
I know 2 of the 3. I don't know one of them.
Yeah. And Winfield signing, I don't think I'll give away the year by saying this, but it was kind of in the early days. I think this was even really before Dan Henneman. No, he's incorrect. He's got 2 of them right, but he's got 1 of them wrong.
Don't announce it. Don't let next person get it.
Nick Howard, he's got 2 of the 3 right. He's also wrong. Jason Flanagan, 2 right. Anthony Grudo, no, nobody's gotten it right yet.
Oh, here we go.
They've
Come
got
on,
2 out of the
people.
3.
Let's see it. Come on, people.
But it was like the early days of the internet, and I was still on a Vikings message board. I think it was K-Fans Rube Chat, and I kept re-hitting like the F5, and it was like Mike Tice somehow he borrowed a buddy's private jet to go to Buffalo and get Winfield, because if you remember, he almost signed with the Jets.
Yeah, that was a hell of a free agent signing. That was a great free agent.
It came out a couple years later that Winfield's wife had said to him that she didn't want to live in New York or something like that. She didn't want to live like in that area, and that played a part in him eventually signing with the Vikings too. But yeah, it was I think it was the scout.com message boards. Yeah, we were wearing out the F5 keys on our keyboards, trying to keep up with the information, because we were like, oh, the Vikings are chasing him. The Vikings are going to sign. Oh, no, he's going to sign. Oh, no, he's not going to sign with the Jets. He's coming to Minnesota now. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
What a great player. What a great player.
All right. So we've got, let's see, make sure I've got one. Where is it? We got one winner, and that is, so far, we've got one winner, and I'm not going to tell you who it is. Well, okay, I'll give you one. There's one winner so far. And it's not Anthony Grudel. It's not Vikings Uncensored. It's not Jason Flanagan. It's not Ryan. Oh, there we go. We got the second winner, Nick Howard. Okay, we got 2 winners now. We got Ryan Gillen and Nick Howard. The year was 2004. The team he played for previously to the Vikings was the Buffalo Bills. And he played college at Ohio State.
Well done, gentlemen.
So, very nice.
Gentlemen, get a hold of Ruby at Vikings Report with Drew and Ted at gmail.com, and she'll give you a link to the prize vault. Congratulations, you are prize winners for tonight.
Good job, guys.
All right.
I like how you did that, Ted. Make them earn it. Make them earn it. Earn your fanship, you know?
So one other kind of, we're kind of coming up on time, but I want to hit this topic as well, because it just came out. He hasn't been traded or anything, but the Vikings still have not come to terms with Danielle Hunter. And it's possible, you know, we talk about the Vikings getting draft picks and rebuilding and all that stuff. And I've always been of the belief that Danielle Hunter is a guy, if he's healthy, you build around, not trade away for assets. But it looks like Ben Gessling is saying the Vikings are, as the Vikings are trying to sort out their cap situation, sources continue to say they've been trying to trade Danielle Hunter, who's got an $18 million roster bonus due on Saturday. He's got a $25.83 million cap figure. The Vikings need to clear space to make their new deals official. So apparently they've got to clear some space to make all of the signings of Phillips and Hicks and the other 2 guys, you know, cap compliant and all that stuff. And I would think they could just take his bonus and spread it out over the years and over the years of the contract and clear up cap space that way. But it seems like he wants a new deal. Drew, Vikings could lose Danielle Hunter.
Can't you just cut Barr? I mean,
Barr's already gone. He doesn't count anymore.
I don't want to lose Hunter. That's a foundation piece that's a foundation piece, generational player. And you can't just say, well, let's trade him and get picks back, and then we'll get somebody in the draft, because I guarantee you there's nobody in this draft that's Hunter.
That's just kind of my thing. Yeah.
You can't lose him. You got to restructure, do what you said, push the money back, do something. Danielle Hunter has to be a part of the Week 1 Vikings regime team this year. He has to. You got to retain him. You got to. If the Vikings lose Hunter, they're in trouble.
Chris, do you agree with that? That they got to keep Hunter, or would you like say they throw he gets a pretty good trade? Would you be willing to move him?
If you're going to move him, you need to get an absolute haul for that guy, like multiple first rounders. You need to get like a Khalil Mack to the Bears package. I think we've mentioned that a couple times before, but I mean, I understand it's a tough sell. The guy's played in 6 games over the past 2 years because of injuries and whatnot. But, when he's out there, he's still, he might be the best player on the team. Never mind the best player on the defense. He might be the best player on the team. And I think someone said if they wanted to, they could take his roster bonus and turn it into a signing bonus, which would clear out cap room. It would spread out the bonus, like you said. I don't know. And they don't have to ask his permission to do that necessarily. They could just do that if they want to. So I don't know if they're going to go ahead and do that, but if they do trade him away, they need to get an absolute just treasure chest worth of collateral for him in return.
Yeah, that's what I would think. And and people say, well, how can you be against trading Danielle Hunter, but okay with trading Kirk Cousins? Because Kirk's in his 30, he's like 33, I believe it is. He's on the downside of his career. He even at their best, Kirk is still a lot more expensive than Hunter, and I think you could get more in a trade for Kirk than you could for Hunter. And the offense, the Vikings offense wasn't the issue last year. It was the defense. And if you go and get rid of the guy I would argue is your Kirk Cousins of the defense in terms of importance to the team, I think he's a better performer. You're creating a hole at a position that you didn't have one at before. And no matter who you get, he's not going to be Danielle Hunter.
No, you don't get better by trading your best players away. That's not how that works. At all.
That's well said by Ted Glover right there. That's how I feel.
So anyways,
who else is coming on? Do we get one more person come on?
I think we do. Ruby, could you come off mute for a minute? Do we have somebody else coming on, or
I need one more guest. Come on.
Hey,
are we
guys.
done? Hey.
We are waiting for Reggie. Reggie says he's driving and he'll be on soon.
Come on, Reggie. We don't got time to sit around. Come on. No, it'd be nice to have one more guest on. And Reggie is a hell of a Vikings fan. Come on, Reggie. Let's go.
All right. Anyways.
He's out trying to find that pig they buried.
Out Smokula. We wanted to have him on tonight. Reggie Adams is always a great take. He has a lot of good Viking stuff.
Well, okay, so what's been the biggest signing or surprise to you right now?
Vikings wise?
Just in free agency overall.
Jaguars signing 9 guys.
Yeah, the ridiculous amount of money that Jacksonville is spending on dudes that aren't actually that good.
They are. I'm going to say they're not doing it the right way, Ted.
18 million a year for Christian Kirk.
Oh,
that's not the and that's going to completely screw up the Justin Jefferson market in a couple years. That's what makes it worse for us, because that dude's going to be looking at 30 million a year at the rate this is going.
And somebody tweeted me, and I tweeted something similar to that man, this is really gonna hurt when it's time to redo Justin Jefferson's deal. And somebody tweeted me, well, in the short term, it's really going to screw over the Packers trying to get Devontae Adams. And oh, by the way, Drew Bunting, great call on in one of our last episodes about Devontae Adams saying he wouldn't play under the franchise tag, and he said he's not going to do that. And it will. You're right. It will screw up Devontae Adams in the short term. But if the Packers cave and sign Adams, it's going to make signing Jefferson even more difficult 2 or 3 years down the road. And there he is, the Smokehouse Barbecue King, Reggie Adams. Reg, how you doing? Puffing out a heater. Puffing out a heater. What's going on, Reg?
Puff, 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 daddy.
This is the only thing I can puff on here live.
You can puff anything you want on here live, brother.
Oh,
here in the state of Illinois, that's perfectly legal, man. Knock yourself out. What's going on, brother? What can we do for you tonight?
Reggie, how do you feel about the Vikings right now, Reg?
Oh, I feel good, man. I feel good.
Good.
I feel positive. I mean, I would have liked some other moves, and stuff, but I'm okay with where we're at. I'm okay.
You'll notice that he's puffing and not passing. Just saying.
Well, it's just me, in the wilderness up here in the Great White North.
Yeah, where you at?
Up here in Minnesota. I mean, in the southern part of the state.
Oh, okay. I thought you might have gone up north like camping or something.
Oh gosh, I wish. Soon.
Dude, this guy, he fishes from an ice hole and then kills a bear by noon. He does more than all of us do combined. Reggie Adams is on fire, bro.
So Reg, what do you want to see the Vikings do in free agency? Who would you like to see him sign? What position do you want to see him address?
I would have liked the interior offensive line addressed. I would have maybe liked us to go after a corner maybe. And I don't know, some of those big names on the market, we don't have money to pay those guys. I mean, I'm okay with the Kirk extension, but I like Stephon Gilmore, I believe, is still out there. I don't think he'd be bad. He's a little seasoned, but I think he'd be all right for help.
So one thing they've talked about is and I don't know if you heard earlier in the show, you mentioned you were driving, but we talked about kind of O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah thinking the roster's pretty good and they're close. So are you okay with kind of the Spielman Zimmer run it back philosophy right now, or you think they're just delaying the inevitable by a year or two?
Yeah, I kind of think, I guess I'd probably lean more towards the latter. I think they're delaying the inevitable because they think they have a shot. They're going to try and catch lightning in a bottle like the Rams did last year, and they're going to try and do what I believe with Stafford, or if Anthony's watching, Trashford. We will try and do with him what they did. We'll try and do that with Kirk, which I think they're similar. I think Stafford's got a little more. He's got a bigger sack than Kirk does. He's gonna sling it out there. But I think they're delaying the inevitable. I think either way, I think O'Connell and the new regime, I think they have their eye on a guy. And Kirk's just a bridge guy right now. They're going to pay him this money. Everybody got what they wanted. We got more money. We signed. So I like the Harrison Phillips signing most of all.
Okay.
Of all the guys we've signed. I think the most underrated signing is Jordan Brooks. I think that guy, he is.
What do you like about him?
Reggie's takes, man. Reggie
he's gonna change the game. I mean, if you look at the guy's stats for how many years, the last few years he's been in the league, he's been like 7 the last 3 years or 4 years. He's a captain on his teams, led all those teams in tackles, and there wasn't slouch guys next to him either. I mean, that guy's a player, dude.
Yeah,
and he's gonna push Kendricks. He's gonna make him accountable.
Sure.
So I think that. Yeah, but like I said, I think they're delaying the inevitable. I think we're still going to get a guy. I don't know if we're eyeing somebody next year. With the way everybody's made moves now, I think easily I don't think Sauce Gardner's going to be there. I just think the guy's oozing with talent and he's flying up boards. There's no way he's going to be there, but maybe we get Stingley. Or we trade down.
That's some great takes, Ted.
It is.
Reggie Adams, you're a superstar.
What do you got on the grill this weekend, Reg?
Let's see. Well, actually, we're moving, so we're moving. We just we got our forever house, so me and the wife and the kiddos, we're moving into a house this weekend, starting to move some of the big stuff. So actually, Saturday we're firing up the grill, and we're going to do just some simple stuff, some pork loin and some brats and stuff like that.
All right.
And then
for those of you who don't know, this is the best barbecue king in the nation. This guy,
he's legit.
He puts some
stuff he calls is legit, man.
Reggie Adams is the barbecue champion of the world, bro.
I'm gonna have some Reggie Adams barbecue before I die.
Oh yes, hell yes, that shit is happening.
Hey Reggie, are you keeping up on my draft boards? My draft board.
Yes. Yeah, ours are pretty similar. I like it. I love your draft boards because you always got somebody on there. And I didn't get a chance to mention, I'm glad we're live now. I saw that you had Oladokin from South Dakota State on there. I don't think he gets drafted, but I think he's a good developmental guy. He definitely is raw, but the kid can run. He's well built and he's got a cannon.
Thank you so much for noticing that.
I watched him play against North Dakota State for the battle for the stone, and that was insane.
Excellent. All right, well, Reg, thanks for hopping on. Good luck with the move this weekend, and post some pictures of your food, man. Always make it.
Yeah. Thanks, Reggie.
Most definitely.
Thanks, Reggie.
No problem, guys.
All right, man. All right. Take care.
See you guys later. Have a good
night.
All
right. So I think we got one more guy coming on. And while we're waiting for him, were you guys ready to fire Adolfo Mensa and O'Connell? I mean, are we just going to jump on the social media train, Chris, and just say this isn't working? We need to pull the plug.
We are absolutely not doing that because, like you said,
Chris, tell people why they don't need to freak out. Can you please explain? Don't freak out. There's no reason. It's March. Don't freak out.
Yeah, I mean the dude's been on the job for like 3 weeks. I mean, the guy's barely gotten his desk set up. I mean, what the hell do you want from him already? I mean, he's in a tough situation, but they obviously have an idea what they want to do, and they're gonna do it. And people might not like it, and well, that's just how it goes. But that's they're the guys that are in charge. And like we said a month ago, everyone was super optimistic and happy that they were the ones that are in charge. And now those same people are pissed off. And well, that's too bad. That's yeah.
I will add the old Marv Levy saying, if I start doing what the fans want me to do, pretty soon I'm sitting with them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, we've got our last caller of the evening. He's the one. He's the only Anthony Thomason.
Oh, my God.
Anthony, you want to fire everybody yet, or are you still good, brother?
Sasquatch, what up?
No, we're good.
We're good.
All right, tell the truth. Doesn't Christopher Gates look like Rob Halford?
You got it. Another day coming.
Living after midnight, rocking to the dawn.
I however, am not breaking the law.
That's great, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good. I got a couple of names for you that we could try and go after.
All right, who you got, brother?
Kyle Fuller.
Okay.
Kyle Fuller's a good cornerback.
All right.
Trey Turner, the guard from Pittsburgh.
Oh, you love Trey Turner, don't you?
You've always been a big Trey Turner fan, haven't you?
No, he did pretty good with the Steelers when they had Roethlisberger.
No,
Roethlisberger had to run for his life.
well, we've been on. J.C. Tretter's a guy, a center. I was kind of hoping the Vikings could be in on him, but I don't know that's going to happen.
Trey Turner might be cheaper.
You think so?
He could be. I think he's about 30 years old. He could be a veteran on the offensive line. And we need someone like that.
You think he'd be an upgrade over Bradbury at this point?
Listen, I would be an upgrade over Bradbury at this point.
Come on, don't push it, Anthony. Anthony, you're the guy that slept during class, weren't you? You slept during class, didn't you?
I didn't go to a cool school like you did.
No, you slept when you were there too. I know. I saw you,
Anthony. What are you liking? What were your thoughts on the Kirk extension? Let me start there.
Well, there was a thing. I kind of talked to Drew about this. They were thinking about getting Baker Mayfield, I heard. So
I'm not sure I buy that because nobody's really officially reported that was an actual thing. It's just been like rumor and conjecture.
Right.
Would that have been a good plan B?
I would have done that. I would have done that in a second.
If it's true, I think I would have. I mean, because look, I think, like I said earlier, that I don't think this defense it needs too much work, and I don't think they can get it all back to, a good defense in one off season. I mean, we thought they did last year and it completely cratered. So I mean, if you're gonna rebuild, you might as well start doing it now. That's just kind of the way I'm seeing the thing.
Cleveland's a mess though, man. Baker Mayfield saying adios and all this, and you get one guy and you tell another guy you want to leave. It's crazy.
Who we taking at 12, Anthony?
I'd love to get Jermaine Johnson.
You know what? You're a Florida State guy, though. That's your school.
He's good, though.
You're a homer, dude.
He played in a 3-4 last few years.
No, he's good. He's good.
And he would fit in with Hicks and Kendricks. Perfect. That would be a great 3-4 linebackers. Yeah, and a couple other things.
What do you got? We got to wrap this up, bud.
The new guy we got, Harrison Phillips. He reminds me a lot of Pat Williams.
Okay.
Pat Williams was a beast.
He was.
I miss those days.
He was.
Pat Williams and Kevin Williams. Man, we had some good people back then.
What else you got, man?
How much rum you had tonight, Anthony?
No, I hope we have a good season, man. We deserve better than this, man.
I think we do.
We're there, bro. Hang with us.
Yeah,
we're there.
What's the best thing to do? Either get the guy at 12 or trade down and get more picks and help our defense.
Trade down.
I'd stay at 12. I'd stay at 12.
Trade back.
What, Chris? What would you do?
I'd probably stay at 12. I mean, the needed cornerback is going to match up with the talent on the board, I think, and that's probably going to end up being the biggest position in need. So, yeah.
If they stay at 12, they're going to draft a guy like Chris Olave. You mark my words.
Oh,
in your dreams,
Christ!
In your dreams.
I wouldn't hate that either necessarily. Just see if we can score 40 a game and to hell with everything else. Yeah.
No,
exactly.
What, 50 burgers for everybody?
Yeah.
If Thielen is gone, I can understand it. But if Thielen stays, I'm not taking Olave at 12. Are you, Anthony? Come on.
Thielen said he's staying, but we'll see it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I guess
I
guess Thielen and Hunter are waiting until the last second.
We'll see what happens. All right. Anthony, thanks for joining us. Take care, man. We'll check you out online.
All right. Living after midnight.
Yeah.
You'll always be our Kaiser Sose. I don't care what anybody else says. Chris.
Anthony
Tolleson. Totally cool.
All right. Boys, we've been going at this a little bit over an hour. Probably about time we should start wrapping this up. Drew, what do you got to take us out of here with?
Hang in there. It's just the beginning of it all. There's a long journey ahead.
Yeah.
Don't freak out. Don't think there's a conspiracy to what the Vikings are doing. Hang in there. And let's play this to the draft and see what we do at the draft. And it's fine. Everything. I'm feeling okay with everything. I am, Ted.
Okay. Chris, what about you?
No, I agree with Drew. I mean, everything, like you said, we're 24 hours into official free agency. Things are just getting started. We're still a month out or 5 weeks out from the draft. There's no reason to freak out, get angry, whatever right now. There's still a long way to go, and we're gonna see how this regime plays things out. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be the same as the Spielman Zimmer regime by the time we get to training camp or anything like that. So I just relax, I guess.
All right, I'm impatient. I think everybody should be fired, and we should start over with a whole new front office. No, I'm kidding. No, you guys are right. I mean, it's a brand new GM. It's a brand new coach. I'm not buying into any of the, guys in the front office are meddling and not letting these guys do their job. I'm not buying it right now. I'm just not.
I'm not either.
I think their approach makes sense when you consider how far up against the cap they are. And if they're acting like Rick Spielman, it's because they were left a mess by Rick Spielman, and they have to get that under control before I think they can fully implement what they want to do. I was irritated with the Kirk extension, and the more I looked at it, once I saw the numbers, I understand. I could see getting rid of Kirk, but now I understand why they have a continuity bridge. I think is their plan at quarterback, and it's going to keep them in their mind in contention. Without cratering to 4 or 5 wins and still being able to get a quarterback they think can replace Kirk in 2 years. So, okay. All right, let's see what happens. Now, if that doesn't happen and they decide to extend Kirk and they end up paying him $50 million a year, 5 years down the road, then we're going to have problems. But I'm willing to give these guys the benefit of the doubt based on the problems they inherited, because there was a reason Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer were fired.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, you don't. It was like Urban Meyer famously said when he got hired at his first head coaching job at Bowling Green. He said Lou Holtz was a mentor of his. He said, what should I expect? And Lou Holtz told him something to the effect, well, if Bowling Green was any good, they wouldn't be looking for a new coach and they wouldn't have hired you. So keep that in mind. And so that's kind of I hope that's the mentality that O'Connell and Odofa-Mensah are coming into this with, and they do have some players. So hopefully the new regime can sort of bring a new fresh attitude and some new motivation and get the most out of these guys. And all we can do is hope for the best.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
All right. With that,
also want to mention in 43 days, only 43 days, Ted, we will be back live.
Oh, that's right.
So go ahead and tell people we're going to be live with the draft first few days.
Thursday and Friday, I believe it's April 28th and 29th. That Thursday and Friday. We will be live for the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. First round on Monday or on Thursday, the 28th. Second, third rounds on Friday, the 29th.
Right.
It'll be me, Chris, Drew. We'll have guests galore. We'll try and bring some folks on from other shows if we can. So maybe local Vikings folks, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, the 28th and 29th, it's going to be a fun couple nights. If you've seen our live draft shows in the past, we have a lot of fun. We're going to be giving away more prizes. We've got another draft contest we got going on. Yes. I believe I won last year against all odds.
Did you?
I think I did.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I believe
Chris 2 years ago, Chris won, and I thought he won last year too. I thought he had...
No, I didn't.
No? Okay. Chris won 2 years ago. You won.
Yeah.
Going to roll towards me this year, Ted Glover.
No, I don't think so.
Ted won. Ted won last year.
I'm gonna start talking smack, and I'll end up finishing fourth. So
it's gonna be a damn good time, however you look at it.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. This Saturday, Drew and I have our regular Vikings report with Drew and Ted coming out, kind of abbreviated. We've got a great interview with a guy by the name of Corey Halka. Corey Hollick. He's an aspiring NFL offensive lineman. So we get to interview him and kind of get a little bit into the inside view of what a prospective NFL draft prospect is going through as he prepares for the draft. I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. It's good. We've got a couple other player interviews coming up in the future, and hopefully we got more after that. So keep watching Vikings Report, Drew and Ted. We will be back live on the 28th and 29th for the first 2 nights of the draft. For Drew, for Chris, for Ruby, and Ruby, thank you for everything you did tonight to get the show up and going. I'm Ted, and we will see you on Saturday.